Welcome to Faith Channel, nurturing, learning, and hearing.
Welcome to another episode of Your Faith Journeys. This is where we intersect between the secular world and the spiritual world. We're doing the fifth episode of a seven-part series talking about an interview that was conducted by the New York Times last year with Jonathan Romy, who portrays Jesus in the hits TV series uh, called The Chosen. So today we have the pleasure to have an individual who I've only known for a short period of time, but it seems like it's been a long period of time, to be honest with you. And just to tell you a little history, I met her through another organization I used to serve on the board for. But come to find out, I had done a DNA test years ago, and they say that I have roots from Cameroon. And this, I'm gonna call it, she's a doctor, but I'm gonna call her sister is from Cameroon just as well. So it's interesting how God connects the dots, and you never know who you're gonna meet and what they're gonna bring to the
Um,
table.
Thank you so much, Curtis. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. It's a blessing to be here with you on this platform. My name is Elise, and my last name is it says Edjang, and I'm a happy wife. That's how I got the last name, and mother of two amazing kids. I'm the author of Saving the Child, uh, a book that I wrote a few weeks ago, actually, a month to be precise, where I share my testimony and my journey of being a mother of a child on the autism spectrum and how God has just showed his power and his might in our lives and has basically healed our daughter from a disease, a condition that science has says there is no hope. So I also have the pleasure of being the leader of Youth Time Banking, which is a nonprofit organization that helps to connect, and it's based in Cameroon, and it helps youth collaborate and work together so that we can keep them off the street and give them opportunities to learn trade and take part and in workshops where they can learn things that will keep them and make them become more self-sufficient and a useful member of the communities.
If you're interested in finding out more details of how God has blessed her and her family and her daughter, who was diagnosed with a particular disease, but God is the ultimate doctor when it's all said and done. So we're going to praise God for him delivering your daughter. And what we're going to do at this moment, we're going to show a clip from the video interview with Jonathan Romas, who portrays Jesus in The Chosen.
Correct. I'll help you.
Uh,
It's super dark.
yes, and you're sort of diagnosing the cultural landscape, and you say, there's just sort of an increase in, occult imagery,
Mhm.
depictions of witchcraft,
Yeah.
um, and you say some of this is even subliminal, and you know it when you see it. I don't know exactly what you mean. Can you give me examples of the kind of stuff you're talking about?
Uh, I think we've reached a point now in culture where seeing depictions and images and symbolism of Satan and Satanism and demons, and witchcraft and the symbols of that's related to all of the occult are so frequent and regular that it's so easy to become desensitized. I think your mind just filters it like, oh, I've seen that so many times now, it doesn't even register. And if you go back a couple of decades ago, you would never see anything like that. I've seen it more.
So let me stop it right there because we just wanted to take a snapshot. And basically, the comments that we would love to hear your feedback on is relating to what do you take into your spirit? And as Jonathan talked about, he talked about numerous situations that occur in our society as we look at society on a daily basis, that it has, some rough things that come at our way, and we're taking it in our spirit, especially when we watch some television programs, some movies, and all kinds of things. Matter of fact, you can see it in the newspaper sometime, and advertisements and all that. So I would love to get your feedback. So let me come back to the studio and let's have this conversation. What's your thoughts?
First of all, let me say that I completely agree with Jonathan Rumi. There's an incredible increase in occultic um, imagery and witchcraft, like he said, like he shared, and even more so in the music industry. I think he pointed that out. It's more graphic with the music because there's a lot of videos um, that are made when a song comes out, and it is just mind-boggling. So what I have decided, because fortunately being someone who's in tune with the spirit and who stays connected and with the word of God, I have basically decided to shield my family from that. So what we do, we limit our intake, we limit how much consumption we have of social media, TV, and news. So we streamline only what we know will benefit and feed us, spiritually speaking, because we do not want to we want to make sure that we don't poison our mind. Fortunately, one of those parents that noticed early on how much those things can affect us, affect our mind. And then you have those young, impressionable minds, they just go home and they want to replicate what they've seen, and they might not understand the gravity. God puts a lot of emphasis on worship. So worship cannot be taken lightly. When we listen to music, we cannot just say, well, it's just a song, or have those graphic images and just say, well, they are just, it's just part of the recording. No, all of those things are strategically put there to affect our mind. And if we are not worshiping God, then we are worshiping somebody else. So the question is, do you know who you're worshiping by looking at all those images?
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's wonderful. Because when I really take a deep dive in this conversation, and I think about other households, I really I feel for other households who are not guarding their children against, these forces that are outside of our godly world, but they're more so in the secular world that says, okay, this is more the direction you need to go in, or you need to expose your child to this and that. And the reality is that it's not good for the child, it's not good for your family. And you take on these different spirits basically
Mhm,
that take you in a different direction. I wanna go right as
mhm,
much as I go because I think that's the right direction,
mhm,
obviously.
mhm,
But a lot of times my flesh talks to
mhm,
me and say, "Go left. Go
mhm,
left, Curtis, go
mhm.
left, because that's what you used to and that's what you see." I call it sometimes subliminal messaging
Yep.
that occurs in our life that you it's just like, your cell phone is tracking you as an individual to find out what are your habits, and
Mhm.
it's giving you subliminal messaging
Yep.
like, uh, "You looked at this 5 times last week. Now Imma show you an ad that says go buy this, and,
And you
make
have to
sure."
remember, Curtis, that the first sin came from sight. Eve saw the
Oh,
apple and she
right.
thought it was good. The very first sin came from those two eyes. What if
Yeah,
Eve was blind? We will not be here
yeah.
today.
And
The
and why
first
why do
sin
you
came from sight.
why do you think that God told them not to eat that apple and they saw it and he had already told them not to eat it because you would be revealed other things that would be harmful to you, but yet and still, for whatever reason, and you can go in more detail about it, they took a bite of that apple. They were attracted to the apple.
You have to understand that God spoke to Adam. God didn't speak to Eve.
Okay.
God gave Adam the instruction, do not eat the apple. Eve wasn't there when God trained Adam. It was Adam's failure to train Eve the proper way. It was Adam's failure to tell her, hey, I don't care who comes here and tells you what. Our God says, do not touch it. But he knew that's why the serpent didn't go to Adam, because the serpent knew Adam was hardcore. He was trained. He knew right from wrong. He was not going to change his mind and sin. So he went to the weaker vessel. He went to the one that knew, had secondhand training, and he was able to manipulate her. And I know the Bible is not specific about it, but I'm pretty sure that he didn't just get Eve on the first attempt. I'm pretty sure that it was a repeated effort. He kept coming and kept talking and sweet talking her, almost like a man was courting a girl, and kept talking to her. What do you think? What do you think about that fruit? Look at how
Ain't
juicy
that
that
apple
fruit
nice?
looks.
Yeah, ain't that apple nice and shiny?
Yeah, look at that. Plus, you're gonna be wise.
Yeah,
And then instead of being wise enough to consult with her husband, she just went and went for it and then took the fruit and gave it to him. And he did not question her about the origin of the fruit. Because I also asked myself, why didn't he stop and say, I've never seen this fruit. It looks kind of juicy. Where did you get it? So that he can prevent the fall of man. Because if he had stopped right there, Eve would have been rebuked and then it would have been a different story. But he
yeah.
just trusted her out of love. He fell for love and then ate the fruit. And then, the rest is history. But it was, I think we have this problem because the serpent was wise enough to go to the weaker vessel, the one that did not hear directly from God. Because when you've heard from God, when you have heard that message straight from God, you are like a stone. You do not move. You do not waver because you know that you got the word from God. But because she did not get the word from God, she got the word from her husband. She was unwavering. And maybe, who knows, maybe she even doubted that he had heard God correctly. And that's why she was able to fall.
That situation happened for a reason because
Absolutely.
it was manifested that it was gonna happen for
Hmm.
a lot of people. They going
Hmm.
like I said, I wanna go right, but my flesh says go
Hmm.
left.
Hmm.
And the truth be told, God had already told me,
Hmm.
like he told Adam, what direction to go in,
Hmm.
but yet still I'm deciding to that left direction versus the right direction. And so,
Hmm.
yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's an awesome testimony, and I appreciate you. We have a free website full of Bible resources that don't cost you a penny. They're free. And so, if you want to develop a closer relationship with Christ, check out the website, yourfaithjourneys.com.
We'd like to express our gratitude to our sponsors and donors for supporting the Faith Journey podcast. Thank you for tuning in. May you be blessed and continue to smile. Until we meet again.